Okay. Well, welcome back to Push. No, wait. This is. Wait, what is this? This is Pushing Forwards with Tyler Stemler. I am Tyler Stemler. This is a podcast about pushing yourself forwards to, achieve goals before you die.
To achieve goals.
Basically it. I've always wanted to create content, have a YouTube platform, social media. I've always wanted to work for myself and pushing myself to do it, and here I am now. That's why I do this. It's a work in progress. I don't edit these videos. They're as they're shot is what they're put online to show the progress of work. The first episode was pretty crappy. Well, not crappy, but it was like work. And this one it's just gonna get better and better. I have a script written out for every episode on how I ask questions and who I have. This is my sister, my older sister, Kristen Stemler. She has a great story of just working on herself, starting, working in the restaurant industry as I did, and kind of just progressing through life as people do, and working with your mental health and everything around it, and the struggles that come along with being, just working on your mental health and being an entrepreneur and trying to create freedom for yourself so that you can live a better life rather than a crappier life and doing work that you don't really enjoy. This is Kristen.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, you are my third guest.
Thank you.
You've, as I said, you've done a lot in life. And I just think what you've done and achieved in life and all the struggles you've gone through has really, it shows, it really shows pushing yourself to achieve something. I don't want to just tell the whole story, but the story right away. But do you want to open up about where you started? What was your first kind of jobs? What kind of led you to, to doing that? Where did you work? What did you work? What did you do? And what kind of pushed you forwards to do what you do now? And the middle part between the illegal parts of life.
Yeah.
Also the struggles the things that seem like easy money at the time aren't the smartest choices to do, because easy tasks doesn't mean it's easy. It's an easy result, or it's easy for that. Everything's a challenge, and good things come with hard work.
Yeah, it's definitely the easy way out is not always the best way out. It's often not the best way out, and if it sounds too good to be true, it is. But how far back do you want to go?
as far back to from where you started your first job to where you started to notice that you don't want to do this for the rest of your life, and what made you want to?
Yeah, so I started at Casey's Bar and Grill at 15 as a bus girl, and that's how I got my feet in the restaurant world, and I did like it. I do love working around food and in the food industry, and food is my love language, so it's a natural for me to be around food, and especially good food.
One sec, I gotta make sure we're recording. I did this last time and I wasn't recording.
No.
I know. No, we're good.
Okay.
Last time, actually, I did a whole half hour with Hibbs, and then I was like, oh shit, the microphones aren't on. So go ahead.
And that's life.
Everything is good if we're recording.
That's life, yes. Yeah. So anyway, that's where I got learning about what I liked to be with and around, and I went to school for social work after high school, because I felt, you have to go to school out of high school, those common pressures, but for me and for many other people, it's not the right choice. Going to school after high school isn't necessary to have success. Even having good grades in high school isn't necessary to having success. So following what I thought I was supposed to do didn't actually work for me. So then I looked for an office job, because I thought that's what I wanted, was something in the corporate world. And as great as it was extremely exhausting. It took away from the value of life, and I was working unlimited hours to visit a rich man's yacht once a year. You know, he was living the lavish life, having all of us work like monkeys underneath of him. And that's just how the corporate world in any area works. But not just that company, but any corporate lifestyle. And that wasn't for me. I was miserable.
Well, you're working for somebody else and you're not doing what you want to do. You're providing somebody else with a lifestyle what they want, but you're not doing. You're just you're the work monkey.
That's what it was, yeah. And I was married at the time and completely miserable and not living the life that was supposed to be for me. I could tell everything I was doing was what I was taught I should be doing. Go to school, get married, and then just go from there, have a family, buy a house. I didn't want all of that. I wasn't ready for that. That's too much responsibility. There's no joy in it for me. And as great as my ex-husband was, it wasn't right. We were young, and there's been a lot of growth since then, which I don't regret not being with him. As great of a person as he is, we weren't right together.
No.
And he deserves someone that loves him to the moon and back. And as do I. So anyway, the corporate world, trucking world, although I did really, really well, I did kind of get laid off from not enough work. And that's what put me out onto the reserve, which was where I started getting in trouble. Not right away, but after the people I met from working on the reserve, dating certain people, and working for them, I guess. And then I got in trouble and went bankrupt and lost everything pretty much. From family to belongings, almost going homeless. And in 2020, when the pandemic hit, it was the least of my worries because I was fresh out of court. And so I started my charcuterie business by accident. And now I'm turning 5 years old. My business is turning 5 years old. And I feel a sense of security. I can pay my bills. I can take myself on a vacation. I don't need to rely on higher powers, a wealthy man, a man at all. I'm independent. Taking myself to Mexico, you don't need a partner or a husband to do that.
You're also working the hours that kind of suit you the best.
Yeah.
In a way, under customer demand, but like at the same time, you're able to give yourself the freedom to be like, hey, I need to take this day off and do this, rather than having to book a day off. Like, oh, look, you only have, or you've taken too many days off. We're laying you off for this reason. You don't have to deal with that anymore. And and yeah, you may have hit rock bottom at a point, but like in order to move up, you need to hit the bottom. And you need to hit bankruptcy. You need to see what rough life is like to get yourself to the top. And
not everyone does, but I found that I wasn't living my authentic self. I was living for others. I did need that rude awakening. Unfortunately, that was just the type of person I was. And I just had to find a new way of life. How that was working didn't work. And the judge gave me a second chance at life, and I just knew that was probably one of my first pushes, is like saying, after you do your hours, you're going to walk away with no criminal record, because he saw potential in me for whatever reason. After a year of fighting in court, although there was a hefty fine and taxes and all of that, I saw it as a blessing. I didn't have to go to prison, and that I can actually try again at life, which so many people beg for and ask for in those situations, and I was granted that. So there was no falling back on that. If I did, I probably wouldn't have survived much longer. It was completely necessary to take a second shot at life with the fullest effort.
But it's not just you went through a lot of hard times of that, but you also have you're dealing with mental health, and behind that, and working, you want to just talk about your mental health and what, it's not just dealing with growing in life, but also dealing with the mental health aspects of of what you deal with in life, and
in addition to normal life.
yeah,
and the barriers,
and the barriers you deal with that, and how you deal with those barriers, and how you push yourself forward. Like, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, that's it's definitely a huge struggle. A lot of people consider like certain types of mental health invisible disabilities, and they are, because it can be very debilitating. It has been debilitating, and I've almost lost my life because of it. My own reasons, my own fault, but that's where the illness has taken me over years. And I take my medication, I go to counseling, I put in the work, everything that they suggest, I do it. I decided to change my mind when I got in trouble that, you know, I have to accept that I have mental health issues. It seems like it's bipolar. I'm having some issues with getting a proper diagnosis, or borderline, but those both really do describe how I operate. Like, if you look at me from a broader spectrum over a month or over a year, see the different cycles that I go through, they would reflect a lot of those behaviors. And yeah, so me working for myself and running a small business at my own pace allows me to take the breaks when I need to, not just a day off, but I need more than a 15-minute break. Even though I don't smoke cigarettes, you know, like a normal cigarette smoking person will go out and get their 15-minute break, I need more than that sometimes. Sometimes I need half an hour. Sometimes I need to sleep 10 or 12 hours because my social meter runs out.
And being put on like a time limit, like you only have 15 minutes, is like causing yourself anxiety alone. It's like, how am I supposed to, you know, bring down my anxiety or whatever I'm dealing with in 15 minutes? Like, that just causes anxiety of its own.
That too, I'm learning to work with that. So though that's, some of that is inner struggles that, like, you know, we can overcome. So having anxiety for time limits and stuff, like that's how I've also built my business, is I know I have 1 hour to do this amount of work, and I can take a half an hour break for myself to sit down, have a coffee, look at my phone, text people, and do something on a personal level, and then I'll spend an hour working on work emails. So I do everything in time slots. That's just how I'm able to be successful. But like, I made those choices. I'm moving at my body's comfort level, at my brain's comfort level. I'm not getting a 15-minute break at 10 o'clock because the corporate guy said that's when I'm allowed.
Yeah.
So, and I work really hard. You know, I was working at a cafe for 2 years, and like, in addition to all of this, and I never called in sick one day in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that person, and if they did have someone call in sick, guess who they called in to come in? Me. So I am dedicated, I'm hardworking, I have my limits to what I can do. Of course, my business could be bigger, but emotionally and mentally and even physically, like, I am at my max. I can only do so much. That is a barrier for me. I would love to see my business grow, but at the same time, I only want a certain amount of stress in my life. And I'm already dealing with managing my mental health, so adding work stresses on top of that is just not, they don't work right now. It's not going to work right now. I have to come along a little bit further in my growth before I can build my business any further.
Yeah, but like, considering how far you've come in life, like, and there's no, you can get there, you will get there. Like, it's, you know, everybody has told, I mean, all of us, that we can't do certain things in life, but it's just like, you don't have to listen to them. You just do what you want to do in life, and like, you just try as hard as you can, and eventually someday maybe it will happen, but you can't give up. Like, you know, it's at your own pace though too. Like, I mean, success doesn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. I still, like, I had counseling this morning, and you know, we talked about that this is the first January and probably my whole life that I haven't actually been depressed. So like, I'm not having financial struggles for once, because my business is like secure and moving, and I've made better choices and have better habits with paying my bills and getting things looked after when I need to, and which were all parts of the mental health before. But it's amazing to like actually not be stressed at the most stressful time of year, when the last 36 years I've experienced that. So I do feel like emotionally I've come a long way, which I can start to tackle new things, but it all takes time. It's just, like you said, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it just, everything takes time, and it's progress. It's working it's pushing yourself. It's sitting down when you need to sit instead of standing when somebody tells you to stand, and like exactly the way you said, like the as we grew up, everyone grew up. It was told you go to school, you go to college, you graduate from high school, you go to college, you get married, you find your career, and that's life.
Yep.
And like.
And you buy a house, and you get in debt, and you buy nice cars every couple of years,
and you just it's just like that's the pattern of life that we were told. But like that may work for some people, and that may be fine for some people. But like people like you or myself, we want to strive for more because we were always told we couldn't. So we want to choose. We want to prove every person that told us you can't do this or this won't happen or look how much you fucked up your life. Like,
yeah, I think that's just in our blood. That I don't know if that characteristic exists in everybody, and it does exist in a lot of people, but like in our blood, we're fighters. Like if someone tells us we can't do it, we're going to do it, and we're probably going to do it 10 times over, and then we're going to record it and we're going to show you.
Well, and it's like
but it's good because that might be what in our blood and our DNA gives us that push to fight harder, like even with what you've overcome, and everybody in our immediate family has overcome some pretty crazy things. And what, a lot of people on the outside looking in say, like, you guys are a family of fighters. Individually, each story is unique to its own. And there's fighting blood in us. But it's not fighting with other people. It's fighting to be our best and to enjoy life, Yeah,
it's definitely, we definitely are fighters. I see that, like, every chance. Especially you and I find more so. The more we are told that we can't, or we won't, or somebody says something negative about us, it's just like, okay, watch me.
It pushes us more.
It's like, watch me, I'm going to do it, And
even if I didn't want to do it, now I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's like just to prove you wrong. You should
have said nothing at all, and
the mental health part, I think, is a great thing because like a lot of people struggle with mental health. I struggle with mental health, and I find, a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't do this because I have ADHD or I have anxiety or It's like, no, I think you just need to push yourself forwards to see what you can achieve rather than just telling yourself how little.
Following a template and expecting it to work.
Yeah.
But like that template doesn't have to work for everybody. We aren't all robots, and we aren't perfectly shaped puzzle pieces. Like everybody has skills that work that don't have to fit the specific template that we're taught, you know? Like even people who do get married a couple of times in this day and age, that's totally normal. Like you don't have to be ashamed if you've gotten divorced or, if you're not happy with someone or two people have changed, moving on is fine.
Yeah.
Like people deserve happiness at the end of the day and to be comfortable. That's what we all want, and
not to be stuck with somebody that you're unhappy with or to work a job that you hate just to pay your bills. And I think
day in and day out. And
I don't know. Remember, Parslows?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan just killed himself.
Whoa. Okay. Whoa.
Yeah. That was the thing is like he, it's just people who work the jobs that they're told they have to work because, because they're told they have to do this and they don't explore life on their own terms and they don't, it's just, you can't.
And then we have let people down because we didn't fit a mold. So then that eats away at people too. They don't feel like they're good enough. But
because you're like, oh, I'm not what you wanted me to be, and because of that, you feel ashamed, or you feel like that person looks at you differently because that you're not following what they looked at you or what they wanted you to be. In the end,
but at the same time, that's okay, and you don't have to be what someone else wants you to be because once you find your best self, you plant those roots in the ground and you know who you are and what you stand for, those people are either going to admire you because you finally chose to be your best self and they see that it works for you, or they're going to be closed-minded and not be happy for you, and those people you don't want in your life.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And then that's when setting boundaries comes up, is that it's important that although you might love someone and appreciate everything that they've done for you, but at the same time it's not working right now, and having some space and cutting off communication or moving on and doing something is important for whatever like relationships are.
Yep. Yeah, it's life is all about trying different things and just not worrying about other people. And like in my very first podcast I tried this, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just doing it to see where it goes. And this is where it's gone. You know, I don't have a large number of subscribers, but like going from 0 to even 20 is a huge jump, and eventually, hopefully, one day it'll be more than that. And
just being
consistency,
and being authentic, like being proud of who you are sitting there, and whoever you have sitting here can be proud of themselves, telling their story. No judgment. Everyone's going to have a story. Everybody has struggles. Nobody's struggles are worse than the other because you don't even know what their perception is or how much they can handle. So, you know, the person can have severe physical and mental disabilities or be the top of his class at a high-end university, and they can still experience trauma and heartache and being judged or not being enough.
You can go to college. You can have degrees at the ass, but you can still be a dumbass.
Yeah.
You know, school just means you have a good memory. School just means that you can memorize a book and what it says.
That's how I got through most of it, was participating in class and memorizing things the night before a test.
See, I don't remember shit.
Yeah, well, I know.
I don't remember nothing, so I have nothing to reflect on. And then, but reading things too, like not everybody can just sit there and read a book and have a teacher read off of a slide and you've learned. Yeah.
That's not easy. That's actually really difficult. And that's probably why, like, most kids just have a hard time comprehending things. It's not practical.
I think the schooling, the way schooling needs to change drastically, because I think schooling is really directed to one type of person. Like you learn this way, or you don't learn.
Or you don't learn at all.
And because you don't learn that way, you're being put into a special school because you don't learn that way, and it's like, oh, now
you're being judged
because you're in a slower educated school.
The thing is, it's not slower, it's just a different style of teaching, which is more hands-on. Like, I'm a hands-on learner, you're a hands-on learner. Tons of people are hands-on learning. If you show me and let me copy, I can get it down pat. If you tell me or make me read it, probably won't be able to figure it out.
Because it's like, how do I do this? It's like, we're just better. Well, not just a lot of people are just better like learning hands-on and just doing things for yourself. And that was one thing I found with jobs, is that like if you start a job, say tomorrow, and within the first week you're not getting it because like they're just saying here's a book, training book, read it, do the job, and you're not doing the job right, so then you're laid off. Yeah. And then there goes your
income.
And there goes your income, there goes your self-esteem, because you're like, oh, now I'm going to go to another job and the same thing's going to happen, or it's just moving too fast and I can't learn. That's
what I was dealing with over the years before charcuterie, is constantly not being in a place that feels right for me. And whether I was laid off or quit myself, I was constantly doing work that I was overworked and underpaid and underappreciated, but always giving it my best and paying my bills and still living miserably. It's just like you can't go through your day to day like that, and then you have people talking down to you, and and then you still have to go home and live your life with whoever your partner is, and if you have kids, then you have to be a parent, and it's just, that's too much. That's more than someone like me can handle. I don't have kids, I'm fine with that. Like, children, I love having nephews and my friends' kids, but like all of those stressors, it's just, we're expected to work and be productive so much during the day that we forgot how much being restful and relaxing actually means for our mind and our body. You don't have to do yoga, but sitting on a couch wrapped in a blanket with a tea or a coffee is self-care.
Oh, for sure.
But we think a lot of people are also trained that that's being lazy if you do it too often. doing it too often is okay. If you need it, you need it. And we shouldn't have to find excuses to rest or to take a break, or
Everything in moderation.
not even in a moderation. If your body needs it, your body needs it. Like if you're in a wheelchair and you're learning to walk, and you know what, you've stepped as many steps as you can take, then you got to sit down and you're done for the day, because you need to recuperate. It works for the brain and all the entire system the same way. If you damage it with food, if you damage your brain with chemicals, like if you don't let yourself recuperate, how is it going to heal itself?
And like, you got to think with like, people are being pushed 40 plus hours a week working their jobs, and they're like, I need a break, and they won't give me a break. Or, you know, I'm only making $17 an hour, but I need to work 40, 50 hours this week to pay my bills.
Just to pay basic bills.
Basic bills, and it's like, how am I supposed to get ahead in life? And then you have the mental stress of like, my bills are coming short. I have to work 55 hours. Oh, my kids hate me because I work.
You're not around enough.
I'm not around too much, so now my kids are mad at me, and then it's like.
But you're just trying to provide.
You're just trying to provide, and I think a big problem in like the life that the workforce,
Western culture,
is like the employer, the owner is trying to undercut his employees so he can get more, but his employees don't feel valued, or his or her employees feel undervalued because they're not getting paid what they should be, or what they
or be giving the breaks that they need.
If
you need that extra few days off, like counting sick days, like, okay, it's great that those are available, but sometimes some people need more, like especially if someone who has a mental health issue or some sort of physical disability, even like if you're someone who deals with like chronic intestinal issues or cancer, like people need that time to rest and to recuperate. Like you shouldn't have to live your life for work and work alone.
Oh gosh, no. And
yeah,
I solely think that's why we do what we do, is because we just had enough of people telling us you have to do this, and you be here at this time, or your job is going to somebody else, and it's like, fuck you, then we're just going to do our own thing. And I started my career at what I do now same time. The pandemic, I think the lockdown was kind of a blessing in disguise, because it's
for
like
a lot of people,
because it's like, here, you can't go to work. You can't go outside, so you
have to be creative.
You have to be creative, and for me, it was, and maybe you. I think for a lot of people, a lot of people were watching like reality shows, or watching The Circle on Netflix, and watching these shows.
Yeah,
and then that's growing no way other than putting garbage, and then putting garbage in their head, and then they go back to what they did, and they continue hating their lives. Or you could do what at least I did. Pivot, and it's like, instead of watching these mind-numbing shows, I'm gonna learn how to use a camera. I'm gonna learn how to do marketing. I'm gonna learn how to create a charcuterie board. I'm gonna learn how to do food design. I'm gonna learn the ins and outs of a business. And I think what was the lockdown, like 3 months?
Way longer than that.
4 months?
It's like a year.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, God.
Trudeau screwed us over. Like, I mean, and like shutting down the economy as massively as it was, and I think having that time off was a huge blessing in disguise. And
it was like a reset, though. Like you either reset or you didn't. And what's really important, like if you look at like the big picture, is we overspend. Families have too many bills. They spend too much time go for 10, 15 hours a day, not enough sleep. Everybody's stressed. So when the world shut down, people didn't even know what to do with themselves. They don't know what to do with rest. It's like, you forgot how to rest. Well, 150 years ago, these families managed to make their own food, to make their bread, to pickle their own vegetables, to have a garden, and to be perfectly sustainable within themselves, and run a whole family and be perfectly fine. And with all this technology and advancement we have, we're all going, like, everybody went into debt. People couldn't afford their homes. People are all living beyond their means to follow a specific lifestyle. And it doesn't actually work for most of the population.
No.
Not every house needs to have a hot tub in their backyard. Not every house needs to have a pool in their backyard. Not everybody needs to order food out 5 days a week. Like that's all overconsumption. And so those are things that I partook in as someone who wasn't always fully aware, but had to cut back on those things. if I want to live a normal life, I really do have to look at what money's coming in and what money is going out. And like having a $4,000 mortgage, that's not realistic for any family.
Oh gosh, no.
I mean, maybe now that like mortgages and housing has gone up, but for the longest time, no. Like having that expensive of a property and all the goodies that go with it and all the sports toys and going away and stuff, like people, I know so many people have actually put themselves into so much debt, like just crippling debt, trying to keep up with a certain lifestyle, to keep their children happy, to keep everything going around them. But what's it worth? Like you are literally killing your own spirit. You're working for the credit card companies to have what?
Temporary happiness.
Temporary happiness that can be taken away really fast.
Yeah. One thing John taught me, which really, put a, really stuck in my head, was when you buy something, it's a Band-Aid. So the moment you put it on, you buy something, you the Band-Aid, you feel happy for a quick moment, for a few hours of using whatever it is you buy, but after you get bored of it, you go back to how you felt, so then you buy something more to feel that again. So then he always taught me, he says, try to find happiness without buying something.
Exactly.
Try, find happiness in what you do, and
it's nice to have nice clothes and nice things, but at the same time, how realistic is it to have new clothes all the time? That's not really that realistic. Like looking back 100 years ago, that wasn't a thing.
No.
Buying clothes like that all the time, and especially at those prices. Do I have name brand things? Yes. Some things I invest in because I know I'm going to have it for a long time, like this coat and these boots, which I've already had for a few years. But for the rest of the stuff on a working day, I have nobody to show off to other than to be comfortable in my body and my working day.
Yeah.
So, I used to love clothes and I always wanted to be top notch and look a certain way and be covered in brand names. But for what? To be accepted by people who are literally only judging me?
Just for the clothes that you wear.
Yeah, but the friends I have now, the friendship group that I have, the people I've met and built amazing connections with, we don't care about that. Nobody cares about what we're wearing. Are you comfortable today? And what do you want to talk about? And
they just want to see their friends happy.
Yeah.
And and those are the people you need to hang around with, are the people that want to see you happy, rather than the people that are just there to
judge you, to see, like I had those friends working at the cafe. I was in a friend group where I had to basically cut out all my other really good friends just to be this core group. And it was mean, it was judgmental, it made people feel bad. Like if you didn't do things a certain kind of way, you were looked down upon, and people talked about each other behind each other's back. So I'm like, okay, if I'm sitting here and you two are talking about her, if I'm not here and she's there, you two will be talking to her about me.
Yeah,
So I don't want friends like that.
No.
And I don't have to, that's great that you have this, that, and the other, but you spend your time being a negative person and you're spending your money on really like stupid things when you could just be saving it or even giving it back to the community. Like do something with good intention. Like, yeah, spending money is the devil. I don't even really like to spend money anymore. Yes, I'm going on a vacation, but it's also a statement to myself for being independent and not relying on a man. The fact that I can take myself on a vacation with money that I earned myself and nobody has that control over me.
And then you worked for that money and and
I'm not in debt. I paid for it with my own money.
and not being in debt and being able to afford something is a huge goal, achievement of its own,
for anybody, yeah.
And the fact that your truck is fully paid off, having the
going from almost losing it to officially owning it,
bankruptcy to having money plus enough to go
on vacation, to buy people Christmas gifts, to not feel the weight of financial stress in January. All of that is just, that's part of why we push ourselves though, but like also having the right perspective at the same time. Like I'm not pushing myself to be looked at as better than somebody next to me.
Yeah.
I just want to be my best self. I want whoever I'm around to be comfortable around me and know that I'm obviously giving them nothing but respect, and I hope for the same in return.
That's I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
It's kind of shift. What made you choose charcuterie?
So originally I saw it on Instagram and I saw the boxes kind of popping up. There was nobody in Brantford doing it, and Mom and I thought, okay, well, let's gift the lady across the road a food box and we'll make it up. And so we made it up and then kind of gifted a few more to Nicole, and Doug for getting married. And it was just kind of like a fun little thing that I saw on Instagram that nobody in Brantford was doing, and nobody in the area, like Hamilton, that I had reached out to, was interested in servicing Brantford. So, okay, well, I'll do it myself. And then I learned you have to have certified kitchen, you have to be a legal business, blah, 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 blah. So then eventually I just kept following all the steps that I needed to do. I don't really know why, I just kept doing it. I guess because I loved the food. It's food that I grew up eating. We grew up eating, you know, like it's pretty basic. I mean, it's for two reasons. One, our heritage. We're used to salamis and kielbasa and cheese. And then also coming from like a poor neighborhood, Lunchables was obviously very popular. So like cheese, meat, and crackers, it's just like, it's a staple. And then, but then bringing something to someone and making it look pretty and knowing that it came from your heart and seeing that joy on someone's face is probably really where it just kept me going. Like always, as a natural people pleaser, when you have a happy customer, that's probably the best feeling, you know, having a happy customer and constantly having happy customers one after the other. And then when you have a unhappy customer, it pushes you to try harder and not make certain mistakes. And so
fall down 8 times, get up 9, and keep going. It's all about trial and error and just learning as you go, because like when you start, you know nothing, and I think that's like the biggest fear for a lot of people is I think that's the biggest fear for people when the reason they don't start is because they know nothing. And it's like, I don't know anything, so why would I get started? It's like the only way you know something is by getting started.
Well, there's a fear, you know, like especially if you go into these small business programs, they say, well, you know, you have to build kind of a plan for yourself. Where do you see yourself in 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 5 years? Well, that's really intimidating. That's really scary to think about. 5 years ago, I can tell you, I was not looking about where I would be right now. Like I wasn't. That's absolutely terrifying.
And you'd be like, I'm not
doing it. That's nope. I'll go to where somebody give me a job, right? But I didn't do that, and I didn't let that weigh over me, which normally would have. And I know for a lot of other people, you sit down and you look at a business plan and you think about looking 5 years ahead. And then if you don't reach those goals, that will eat at you at the same time. So doing it trial and error, doing it from my heart. I literally pray for every order that goes out. Like when I'm making an order, I put good intentions into it, and I literally like pray and imagine the person enjoying it at the other end. Every single order. So to me, it is important to be giving people a good product. And I also think everybody deserves to have good food. Like charcuterie was a little bit of a luxury item, and over the last few years it's really turned into a staple in everyone's household.
Well, I didn't know what it was, and then when you started it, everybody's doing it.
Yeah, and now everybody does charcuterie.
Yeah, I see it in Hamilton, I see it more in Brantford, I see...
every party has a charcuterie.
You know, Giles Catering, never once did I see him do that, and then you started, and he's like, I'm offering charcuterie boards, and I'm like, oh...
Cool. No, Marshall's awesome. He gives me like a lot of the smaller work. And he's like, you only small because you say you're small. No, Marshall, I'm small because I'm a single person doing a business. Yeah. He has a huge team. And I love him, and I love all the support I get from him. But I don't want a team that large either. That's beyond my capacity, like my mental health capacity. Yeah. I can't deal with those levels of stress. Now you're dealing with people and leading people, and it's not just making food. Like there's so much more to running a team like that. And I'm okay with being small. Just because I'm an individual running a small business doesn't mean I'm not happy and successful.
Well, because you have to then look at renting a new spot, and then you have the stress of keeping that abroad. And
that all almost came to light. You know, I was almost fooled into having my own property, and thankfully, because it was so dilapidated, it just wasn't feasible. But that was kind of like an awakening. Like, do I really want that? No. Can I handle that? No, I can't. And my business is fine the way that it is.
And you got the help from Chinese Sisters?
Chinese Sisters is amazing. I love them. Obviously I wouldn't be where I am today without them. And I don't want to be elsewhere. Like, we work closely together now. We do a lot of work together. Like, they also employ me to help with some of their things. So it's become, we're a sisterhood between Candy and I, and just a full-on family between their employees and the owners and the establishment. I mean, I'm extremely grateful. The setup is almost perfect, other than the parking. and the homeless, of course. Like, the homeless don't bug me. It's the drugs and the vandalism.
You
But
can't get away from that because that's
from anywhere, yeah.
It's just getting worse and worse, and yeah.
But since I've accomplished those things, I've been able to set new goals now to look ahead to the future, which in 37 years of life, I have never planned ahead. So considering I have, but I have never put anything in like to solid goals. Like, now I actually have specific things I want to accomplish on specific timelines.
Yep.
So like, I've grown to that where, yeah, thinking about consequences was never a thing before.
No, it's definitely a journey, and I'm very proud of everything you've achieved in life. And
Thank you.
I'm
thankful that people didn't think I could do it.
and you have to be to turn those negatives into positives.
Yeah.
Because
No, but truthfully, along the way, even in those dark moments, there were random people here and there, and that's they gave me like light. They gave me meaning. So like for those who are doing really well in life and don't project judgment onto someone in a dark time in their life, that actually is so huge. Like, people who I looked up to as very successful people, happy within their own lives, saying good things to me, saying, I see good things happening with you. Like, you are a strong, independent person, and maybe you're in a dark time, but you're going to come through this. So when you have people like that say those things to you, it keeps that light. Keeps that light going.
It's I think when you see somebody even trying a little bit, no matter where they are at life, give them some encouragement, tell them that they're doing a good job, because those small words can help them push to the next level and be like, you know what, I'm doing good. I'm going to keep doing this, because that little, if you fuck up once, you're like, oh, I might as well go back to working a full-time job.
It's easy to quit.
It's so easy as an entrepreneur to be like, this client let go of me. You know what? I got to go back to working a full-time job, because those jobs are always
You feel
there.
like you failed.
You feel like you failed, but then like resilience is, pick yourself up, brush yourself off. No, I'm going to try this again. I fucked up there. I'm going to
get a new client, and you're going to do better. And
you're gonna, it's the whole thing of this podcast, videos, whatever this is that, like, the first video wasn't the best. The second video was a little bit better. This is the third video. Actually, technically, this is the fourth video. I didn't post the third video because I couldn't get into this studio because I didn't have the code. But like this is technically the third one. This is the fourth, but this is the third one. This one's better. It's more formatted. I'm not repeating myself as many times as I have. I'm not forgetting, because I've watched prior episodes to see where I can improve on, how I can make each episode better and better, and yeah, that's it's all about progression, resilience, never
being
stopping.
able to self-reflect though and see where you can improve. Like, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't mean you're a bad person if you need improvement here and there and then the other. So going back and looking back at that, that's how you grow. Like me too, looking back at different orders and like, okay, this is what I could have done differently, and it's not a bad thing. That is literally part of growth. But it's important too that you are doing it like raw, uncut, unedited, because everybody watching too, like, over the time that you build this, will be able to see your growth.
Yeah.
And they can go back and look at that. I don't have my original charcuterie photo on there because I'm embarrassed. But I know people need to see that, because they need to see, like, this business isn't 5 years old because of that first photo. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I had to go back and see where I could do better. So having it raw, uncut, even for you, not just for your viewers, but even for you to go back and work on how to ask certain questions, how you want to open more, and also how people talk to you, so you can think of other people that you'll be interested to have conversations with.
It's definitely a learning thing, and like, again, I stutter. I have the speech because of my brain injury. I don't let that stop me. I don't edit that stutter out. I don't edit anything. Like, it's just,
you don't need to.
I don't need to, because this is who I am, and like, this is how I talk, and this is how I am, and like,
that's how you operate. There's a story that made you. There's a story that made me. And for anybody else in this chair, if they have a stutter or if they're dealing with repercussions from a brain injury, that at least they know they're comfortable and that you're not judging them and that they're going to be edited out for not being their authentic self.
No, it's just like, come on here, be you, don't hold back, and like there's nothing to be ashamed of, because everybody is working to be everybody's working to be the best they can, regardless of the position that they're in. And
just to be a good human, to be a part of society, to be appreciated and not judged. We all want that.
Yeah,
and everybody's got a story to share that we can learn from. Like, learning from people is important. So you doing this and learning from people is amazing for them, that they get to share their story, and then amazing for you because you can learn from all of these people too.
Exactly. And like, and they can just, people can see that not everyone's perfect. Everyone has a story behind them. So don't make a judgment on what you see. Be like, what are they dealing with? How, what is going on in the background of their life? Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a reason why they're acting sporadic.
And there always is.
And there always is. And people, and I think people just need to really see that. And
we're so rushed that we forget to be patient. So we're rushing around in life. We don't have time. Even someone honking at me because I didn't move from the green light within 0.8 seconds. It's not my fault that you're running behind. I'm driving legally.
And at the pace I can. When on the link, the speed limit's 90 and you get a ticket at 110 and you're already going 100 and people are honking behind you. It's like, dude, I'm not getting a ticket.
I don't want a ticket. Yeah, I don't want that.
And you don't know where those cops are hiding, and just because you're in a rush, I'm not.
But then that's a reflection of how much people are rushed. They're rushing their lives, and we just all need to slow down.
Yeah.
And if we can slow down for ourselves, then we can slow down for the people next to us. And people have a lot more compassion and empathy when we can just slow down a bit.
Just take a breath, and it's like the one thing I learned from Sam is to Joey. You've seen that when we were at your house is out through the
so cute.
Blow out the candle and smell the flowers.
I know, it was so cute, and that's really amazing. Not just for kids, but like for adults too.
Because like you don't realize how one breath can actually like
just
reset and like, okay, I was really frustrated here, but I will, I have whatever around me, and I will do this better. And
well, it's like if you look at a computer, it's a bunch of zeros, and then all of a sudden you do one up like that. Okay, we just changed that rhythm now,
yeah.
And now okay, take that breath, reset again. You can go back on. Now you don't have to have all those zeros. You go 0 1 0 1 0 and do whatever because we are essentially. I think we're all just computers anyway. But yeah, like that quick little breath. Blow out the candle and smell the flowers. It's also a reflection of how important it is to be in the moment.
Yeah.
To be here and here now. Name 5 things after you take that breath that you can see. Name 5 things that you can hear. Name 5 things that you can touch.
Yeah,
and then you're in the moment. You're as real as it's going to be, and you can move on from there and push forward from that moment.
Yep. It's it literally like the reason push means I've made all my companies, all my brands is push, is because I think pushing yourself is like the key to life. Mm-hmm. I think life holds you back, and people hold you back, and jobs hold you back, and bills hold you back, and if you don't push forwards, skateboarding has taught me the biggest thing in life is like, if you stop pushing, you're just going to move down the hill. If you stop pushing, you're going to stay still, or you're going to move backwards. Mm-hmm. If you push forwards, you're going to move forwards. And I think skateboarding has also taught me like every fall is worth picking yourself back up to try that trick again and land it and feel the success of all those fails and like injuries, because like
that's been a direct correlation for you in life, is you pushing with the skateboard is literally trying from the ground and pushing up and pushing forward and creating movement and making something kind of magical about it,
Yeah.
Making it cool from just literally pushing.
That's how everything started. Was like I started photography from skateboarding. I started videography from skateboarding. Skate for the Brain was my first official business.
Yeah, I know. I still have the poster up at my door.
I have them somewhere.
Yeah, that one on your hand.
Oh yes, that one. We've all come a long way, and
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. It's not a long podcast. It's just
long enough.
And I'm not sure how long these cameras last.
It's like it shut off to get the battery died.
Oh, I do these ADHD moments. Random camera facts. DJI Action Pro 5, best camera to do vlogging videos. So I'm actually going to Blue Mountain this weekend.
That was ADHD.
I'm going to Blue Mountain.
That was all one sentence.
Right. Very bad punctuation and
Same here.
yeah.
It's okay.
I'm going to Blue Mountain this weekend. I'm going to be making a video on this camera, the Sony A7R5, as well as DJI Action Pro 5. I'm going to be making a video. I have a client that has the presidential suite at Blue Mountain Westcott Hotel, and 20 rooms have been booked, and we are just having a huge party. And I was invited along on a tour bus to make a video of everything that happens, and you'll see the video probably on Monday, maybe, or by Wednesday next week. I'll be shooting it on the A7, Sony A7R5, as well as the DJI Action Pro 5. Repeating myself, but yeah. So keep an eye out for that. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty fun. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you.
Keep pushing yourself forwards, and
I will.
happy for you. Keep succeeding.
Okay.